Hello everyone for the first ever Hitman Gauntlet official match, in fact a show match on this first day of the 1 week tournament between Papierfresse and Ashton. We will have 5 game modes here because in Gauntlet we don't play roulette only, we don't play bingo only, we play different game modes at the same time until one player reaches 2.5 points. So we'll have any percent race, SASO Roulette, Lockout Bingo, contract series and contract score mode. And to help me with this madness on the first ever match, I have Providence Herald Meekah with me. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Up next, simple done button.
Yeah. I suppose we are going to learn a lot of things about this, not just the game modes, but the adminning format, and I think it will be a good lesson that I guess if you leave it empty, then it will have a default text, but it's perfectly fine. It's the first ever match here. Don't have a lot of high expectations. Chris is our very lovely admin here today with 20 pages looking at the same time, so it's going to be a bit of chaos. Wishing him all the best, as well as to Curry, who was also very scared about like all the tech breaking down, but here we have it finally, the first ever match, and starting in 20 seconds with season 3 any percent, so they are already looking at the Dubai loading screen.
Dubai, which from what I've seen in any percent is usually 2 striker shots and you leave or something like that, maybe 3. It's not all that crazy. Probably around 10 minutes. Not 10 minutes, 10 seconds. Also,
Yeah.
Curry Maker's asking if it's first to 3 or play to 5. It's first to 3.
First to 3, yeah. 2.5 if you'll be proper, but
Yes, first to 2.5.
curious to see how the ties will happen in this format in the future, like not in season 3 any percent, because you can already see Papier.
Yeah,
Finishing
it's
Dubai.
out before Ashton's in.
Yeah, it can be a
That's just
snowballing.
how fast Dubai goes.
It's a very quick season, and I mean it still was the same 1 point as season 2 SASO would be, which is I think a bit riskier compared to, like, you know, with the 45-minute timer. It will be a bit longer.
Yeah, I feel like definitely season 2 Sasso's like the closest to one of the race ones that you might actually tie on. I don't see any of the other ones in terms of the speedrun races taking longer than 45 minutes.
Yeah, and like a small aspect here is that well, they are not technically tournament players because we kept the limit at 8, but they are all very nicely versed Hitman players, not just in one aspect of the game, but all of them. And we see Papier, very competent any percent racer so far, but also been playing the Saturday Night SASO races. And of course, Ashton has been around for so long as well.
And Papier's out of Dartmoor as well. Not exactly a long one either. Neither is Berlin. Berlin's usually around 30-45 seconds as well. It only starts to get a little trickier and a little longer in chunking and train. In chunking, there's a couple item boosts for the most part, but other than that, train is really the bulk of season 3 any percent.
Yeah, not the bulk of the action, but the bulk of the running and the time with the mandatory.
Yeah, not too much
instruments.
action.
But as you can see, a couple noticeable things already, as you mentioned as well. The boosts are all fine in speedruns and contract modes. It's only bingo and roulette which are more restricted. And also you can see that any percent does mean any percent. They can start in casual mode and take some bullets better. Ashton will have to try to stay alive here, which he doesn't, which is the first significant loss, which gives him a 1 map disadvantage now.
That's big. In a season this fast, that is scary. And now the pressure's going to start piling on for him too.
It's just,
which is, yeah, not what you want to be feeling in any percent in season 3.
even if Ashton didn't die, it would be like a meaningful difference between him and Papier. But now it's,
Yeah.
I think it's another minute lost, which I guess very quick word about photo finishes. It would not be as fair to have a 30-second limit with this many loads. Both are PC, but just in case, for series, so like the races, and if we have like the contract series, it is extended to 60 seconds, so at least to accommodate the hardware differences a bit more. But of course, can't do all for everyone, but just a different direction or a bit more lenient here.
And there's the item boost. Oh wow, I've actually never seen anyone go that high. There's the item boost in Chongqing. That's pretty much it. He just shoots Imogen through the glitchy little spot in the wall here, and then dips in the scooter right behind.
Very nicely practiced, and not even any close calls. Ashton's mentioned security was a bit hairy. Of course, one restart, but second try gets him out of Dartmoor. But now it's, I guess, map number 3 for Ashton and map number 5 for Papier.
Definitely a big difference here, and Ashton unfortunately has to just kind of play for a rip from Papier, maybe even like a late rip on train. That would probably bring them closer together.
Or a crash, because I think that is it.
Oh, or a crash, true.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
It has to be like black screen stream still live, and that was the quick unpack, which I mean does have some risk involved, but I no, I don't really know how riskier is the quick unpack, but I've heard like people.
Quick unpack is usually fine unless, I think specifically in a couple of spots, and right over the shrine is a big crasher. Which is where he went. I know Pidgeiro was talking about that the other day.
Stay focused. He's not playing.
It's kind of.
I don't know what it is about the shrine, but
yeah, I had no idea it would be specific to location, but there you have it. Luckily for Papi, it won't change the outcome. Like he will stay in the lead. He'll be frustrated,
yes,
of course, to lose a minute here. Ashton 3 out of 5 in combat yet again, but casual, so it's not the end of the world. We'll get a 4th target in the bike area, Lowenthal, and I think the closest might be Rhodes, the floor above.
Yeah, that's probably the best idea here, Rhodes. Or actually, no, he distracted Tremaine earlier, I think. I think he wants Tremaine. Oh, never mind.
But he's gonna stay in the
he's just going for Rhodes.
Going loud. Perhaps? No, just checking us for a second. He has a syringe, but it's not for this season, I believe, or I feel.
Yeah. Might as well just shoot him if you're playing any percent. And Papier's back in Mendoza and almost out, because Mendoza ends right about now when you get those car keys and you exit out the top floor here.
It's quite hard to get spotted, but you can even do so now with any percent, and it's not a run really where. Of course, you can, like, it's very similar to the SA and SASO strats, but
yeah,
you just don't have to restart when things don't work out with the panic, for example.
Yeah, you don't have to go for the slightly tricky lockdown on Imogen. It looks like Ashton doesn't have full mastery on Chongqing.
I wonder where
so
that will put
he's
him.
not going to be able to do Street Guard, yeah.
Oh, it's not even Street Guard now. That could be significant, because that we've seen Papier do that, and it was the...
Yeah, it is definitely the main strat for Chongqing that you see in most categories that aren't SASO.
Speaking of Street Guard start, I think Johnny had a new world record the other day.
Yes, he did. 35.
There you have it. Might not see that exact time in the tournament, but main mission speedruns, of course, still a thing and going down by the second every time.
Yeah, there's been a lot of big changes since I've been watching any main mission speedruns. I know Marrakesh used to be like a minute and a half or something, and now it's like 30 seconds.
Yeah, amazing progress here. And Ashton with the Chongqing snipe on Hush gets into combat, but really make his way down. Yeah, might be combat, but in casual they aren't as attentive, and doesn't seem like he's been taking any hits there. Nice color on the Street Guard. And it won't be wall bang on Imogen, I think will be facility exit, because otherwise he should be doing the drop, I think, otherwise he would be late. But won't make a difference here really, as
Yeah,
Papier
Papier's almost out now.
last carriage, and I guess the crash is the one thing, but there's no briefcases to open here anymore, so very nicely done by Papier, takes the first point of Hitman Gauntlet.
Well played to Papier. That was no mistakes. The only thing was a crash, and that, I mean, that's not on him at all.
Yeah, like crash would give him back some time, like with the extended photo fusion window, but still, it's I think it was around 9 minutes start to finish, 6 missions, 1 crash, including Romania. A nice start.
Yes, very impressive start for the first gauntlet match.
And Ashton also getting to Mendoza, so it would be, I guess, say 6-4 if it was like if it was only a race tournament. But Papier getting the first point, and we'll need 2 more to get to the win, to get the win.
Alright, now we're on to SASO Roulette, which I believe is just roulette in your suit, from what I've seen in the rules.
So yeah, a lot of game modes cycling around, and we've been considering a lot as well, and we've had a very successful community event by Chromex called SASO Roulette. So basically the exact name. We apologize for the confusion, but because of the amount of formats in this event, we thought that the event-specific rules, which include the default loadout and loadout retrieval, for example, so you have to exit with your items, we just wanted to skip those for this event, for this test list, and just make it a very simple suit-only roulette experience.
I think it's a pretty good idea. I mean, everyone has to learn the rules to 5 different events, having a bunch of extra ones. Probably not super super needed, for at least the first one. Until we get like a buff guy series on it, and then we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, the buff guy effect always drives the popularity. So in Hitman Gauntlet, at least in this tournament, we will see for, of course, future events, players do not have picks or bans. They have 5 game modes to prepare, but they don't know either which is the specific conditions. They didn't know which map SASO Roulette will be on. They didn't know which season they would have had to any percent run. They only know it right now, and that's a spin arriving for second.
It's spin flash.
Yeah, neither of them are starting, so that's all good here. You know, we are also testing the tech, and if it's admin side or Curry side, here's a Curry scream, which I promised him to do, just scream his name whenever anything happens, basically. Honestly, I couldn't even get the spin fully comprehended, so maybe they didn't either.
It seems like Papier saw that it was drowning Janus, so I'm gonna tell Chris he should probably respin.
Yeah, sounds good here. Yeah, I think it's just part of what happens with the first ever match, especially with a full-fledged overlay like what Curry made from the coding side, and Agent Mando from the design. I think the animated flames are by Gunter, so it's a great team effort once again. And so just coming back to the point, they didn't know the specifics, they didn't know which maps and seasons will be played, they just know the formats, the game mode, so they knew that they will be playing SASO Roulette here.
Yeah, I mean, having a bunch of random stuff like that, but not knowing, definitely raises the difficulty a lot on Hitman Gauntlet. I feel like that's kind of the point of it, which is definitely a good thing.
Yeah, trying for the ultimate Hitman challenge. with these 4 different categories. Once again, it is roulette, bingo, contract mode, and full game speedruns, the 4 main ones, from which players can get their challenges. And yeah, we are hoping to find the best all-rounder here, at least this week for the test event.
Yeah, the best all-rounder for right now. Out of the 8 people.
Yeah, so it's a busy schedule. So
Yes,
we opted
busy
for a
Wednesday.
1-week event. Oh, for sure. But also the calendar is busy, and we couldn't quite fit 2 weeks into it, especially because we are also very much looking forward to the 2 other longer events, which will be Roulette Relay starting, I think, the 18th, so I think in 2 weeks, and then Rivals
Yep.
Pro by GK Punk in the later half of July. So just 1 week event here, and of course, if this goes well, then this is one of the events that is more likely to come back sooner rather than later.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it seems like a lot of people are super interested in it.
Be nice to see. So hopefully we can showcase it here. And Papier and Ashton are not part of the official competition, because for 1 week we wanted 8 players and we got 14 sign-ups, so we had to cut out 6 of them. But for Papier and Ashton and for other players, we still wanted to show them a show match so that they can experience, I guess, the Gauntlet feeling in these different game modes. Well, SASO Roulette is here and we won't see disguises, but what will be the spin here, Meekah?
When it arrives in 1 second, I'll tell you. There we are. Fire Axe and Hatchet. Fire Axe for Janus and Hatchet on Nolan. That is a whole lot of axes. But you can carry the axe, the hatchet rather, in your briefcase, so it could be worse. Are you allowed to change disguises at all, or do you have to stay in suit the whole time?
You have to stay
I
in suit
believe
the
it's
whole time.
stay in suit the whole time. Okay, so we're gonna probably see a lot of Fire Axe like drop and re-pick up through the streets of Whittleton Creek.
Yep. And yeah, so the hatchet is on Nolan's side, but the fire axe as well. I think Papi is going for that already. It is in the Betty Garden, the backyard. So yeah.
Oh,
during
Ashton's
this-
still on casual. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's something that has to be noted there.
Someone's got to tell him.
I wonder if someone would like notice it during a run. Like, no cameras, that's convenient, but
Yeah,
this
I don't
door
know if
isn't
it would really be
open.
that different.
The door that Ashton went through is is
Oh.
definitely closed in professional, so that would be
Yeah.
a giveaway. And or deposing, so luckily he noticed, or he was told quick enough.
Yeah, I pinged him.
Awesome.
Papier bringing the Fire Axe over now. Definitely a good idea to get Janus first here, I think, because I mean everything's over there for Nolan already. And Nolan's
Yeah.
a much more forgiving target most of the time, unless you do gramophone, but with a Fire Axe in hand, kind of difficult to get up there.
I think that's an interesting extra challenge here, because otherwise I think you would probably be in a disguise that can carry the item, but in suit you have
Yep.
to like stay in it and just yeah, throw it through the, I guess, the main window of Janus's bedroom. And with the gramophone it's just a bit of waiting until that first kill.
Yeah, well done with the Fire Axe movement there. That's not super easy.
Different targets, different approaches. Ashton will try for the Nolan kill first, or at least getting the letter from Spencer Green. Can't get the disguise, but can get one person out of the equation here.
I think letter makes a lot of sense. I would not want to be going to the basement for the picture in my suit.
I think it's a good call. Gun flash from Ashton. Exclamation mark, but out of the picture, so stays green, but misses the dart. And gets the KO before the Australia turn him into, oh my god, almost rips, but gets the rip anyway, because I guess briefcase too slow, started too late.
Unfortunate.
And just a bit too late for that.
That was almost crazy.
I would have loved that to be a saved run of course, yellow guns for a minute, but that would have been taken care of very quickly. Just sadly, not green for now.
And Papier's running back now, but doesn't have the basement clue, so I'm interested to how he's gonna get Spencer. It looks like he has a trank though, so probably just run and trank them both.
Yeah, also, like when the garage isolation happening, Spencer would be upstairs and then goes down around 5. Above, after a bit, like 5.5 minutes or so. So I'm curious if he will wait for him downstairs or just infiltrate from below and gets to Spencer that way. Papier will be taking those clues in the meantime, and Ashton couldn't get it with green guns this time around, couldn't get around the Cassidy guard. So another
Very
restart there.
unfortunate. Papier's getting the hatchet now over here. You have to just kind of take it out of the ground. Thankfully it's on the map though, otherwise that would be terrible to try and find.
Just passing area, a lot of whooshes around but far away and already concealed again, so no worries about that second item, and I think that's perfect timing around the 4-minute 20-second mark to get Nolan in the garage. And yeah, this is once again SASO Roulette, which means suit only for the whole spin, and of course the kills also have to be done in suit only, where disguise is there for any disguise. You can see it on the overlay.
And Papier's got perfect timing here on Nolan. Just gotta get Spencer and the shovel, or the cigar box out there, and then he's good to go.
No knockout either, so just that letter remaining, and that's not Spencer either, but gets rid of the cameras and so many guards down already, so shouldn't be a
I
problem.
believe Spencer's upstairs right now.
Yeah.
But shouldn't be too big of a deal at all.
Speaking up the tauntaun for extra calmers, and I think the shovel for the cigar box. Bodies are being found by Spencer himself, the only roaming guard at this point downstairs. And we'll try to take care of the body situation very shortly. Someone's turning around here. Could be difficult. The distraction takes it. Guard is being woken up, but both tranks hit. And Spencer is down, and that's the second clue. Actually, not the third one, but basically the last one that he needs, because the cigar box is right next to the shovel.
Very smart of him to just throw it over there while he goes and does this.
Yeah, unfortunate for Ashton, because he would have a very quick Nolan kill as well, and then of course the fire axe through the same area as Papier, just a bit different timing. We won't see his spin in full because Papier's first try will take him his second point now.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Last millisecond body fun, just one of the tranked Cassidy guards. So 6:19 and the second point already by Papier. I think we are going to play bingo next.
I believe so. I believe we're on Lockout Bingo now.
Lockout as well. So it will be probably the most... the game mode with the biggest actual head-to-head aspect, because you are taking tiles and preventing your opponent from taking the same. So curious to see how it works out. Of course, we've seen it in Hitman Bingo, the tournament in March and April. But now it returns for Gauntlet. Let's see Ashton get this one. That's the KO, and if he takes care of that roaming garden, this would be Nolan isolated, just of course a bit too late.
Yeah. A little bit too late, but that would have been a very good strategy, I think. Honestly, maybe faster than the 6:19 Papier strategy. Just because I feel like Janus could have been gotten pretty much any time as long as he's in the house.
Yeah, probably would have been downstairs and then the same gramophone to bring him up. Hey, good
Yep.
thought experiment, and maybe the next daily challenge in the Discord.
Yeah. Thanks to Kaneda, who keeps posting those.
Yeah, nice to think about those as well. So up next is a roulette spin, but
Apparently.
I just checked the match info channel just in case. Yeah, Bingo Lockout is the third one, so that will be changed very soon. And then we will go to... Oh, Lockout Bingo in map. It doesn't matter. We'll have a map spawn very shortly as well. Still 4 minutes to
We're
close.
gonna go to map.
But I can read out the rest of the rules. A tile can only be claimed by one player. Players must complete 10 tiles on the same board, as well as completing all objectives before finishing. Tiles can only be claimed when the player has green guns, default loadout, so ICA pistol, coins and fiber wire, as well as suit start required. Thank you everyone in chat answering the questions, trying to get through them here as well.
Yeah, Lockout is almost always differing strategies I've seen. Or even yeah, just Lockout in general, because I feel like with non-Lockout you see there's usually 2 or 3 pretty clear lines, and then you see both the players going for the 2 or 3 lines. But with non-Lockout, there's so many fast tiles that people are going to be like, yeah, I want to get that like out of the way so that my opponent can't. And you'll see them doing completely different things most of the time. Sometimes you see them screwing each other over, and it's fun. Oh, and the bingo card leaked.
Yeah, well, you said it very well. Hoping for some back and forth. It can also be the snowball effect when someone gets to a tile just a bit late. So the next tile he goes to is also a bit late. But we can also see some diverging routes and get to different amount of tiles. Also very important to say, I should have specified like in the message that if they were to restart here, and they are going to Chongqing, we can see it now, if they were to lose their essay, they can restart and not lose any tiles, which is not a feature in the non-lockout bingo.
Yes. Which could be used pretty strategically, to be honest, if you just like rip on purpose after getting a couple at one spawn and then you go to a different spawn. And it looks like Ashton's low mastery on Chongqing is coming back to bite him.
Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate.
I guess it's the ultimate test of mastery as well. Just
yeah.
Not just knowledge. I'm starting to get a bit scared because the overlay has disappeared and I haven't touched anything.
Blame Curry.
Let's give it a refresh, and still not here, but we figure it out. We can also pretend that we know which tile they go for. I'm sure Curry's on it already. And we will get started on the third map in just a couple of minutes. Papierfresse on the left has 2 points after winning any percent in Season 3 and SASO Roulette in Beetleton Creek. And Ashton, although with low mastery, but basically the same suit start and no other item requirements, I think he'll have just as good of a chance here to come back into this and force a map 4 or 5.
Yeah, hopefully. It's been very fun to watch this so far, so I hope it keeps going. Currymaker's telling you to reload.
And I have, and nothing happened, but...
Uh-oh.
Bit scary. Alright, we'll keep an eye out on the admin chat.
Yeah,
Such a good news that you're a herald, so you can tell me these things as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can see the bingo card. I'm not too optimistic about that. Oh, and the players are saying that their link page is now a black screen, so I feel like we're going to have a little bit of a delay.
So this is actually good news because then everyone is on the same page. We're just going to have a couple of minutes of extra delay and set up for, I guess, the second half of this match. But
It's all right.
yeah, much better than. Wow, look at that fortune teller. Meekah said black screen and Pidge's monitor went off. That's amazing timing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in your walls, Pidgey. That's the problem. I'm here to screw up your PC.
He's become too powerful.
Black screen, black screen.
Hopefully not my next, not my screen is next, but
Yeah.
he can take it as a radio call.
No, I'll wait until Pidgey's in his next match. I'll wait until week 9 of Burly League when he's against me, and I'll just start yelling black screen.
Also, while we are waiting, Papi is asking to get into voice chat actually, so someone can explain him what bingo is. He didn't play the Hitman Bingo competition. Not sure about Ashton, but I wouldn't be against it. So it's
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
like you wouldn't want someone to to start a game without the knowledge, for sure.
I misclicked. I accidentally went to general.
Oops. I just type him sure as the admins are working on stuff.
Yep, good plan.
It is just
Mid interview.
sorry, what?
It's gonna be a mid-match interview now.
Perfect.
Mid-match.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, he didn't say that we should tell him. He can join a VC. But also, so this is meant to be just laid back in two aspects. This is
Yes.
a reminder that this is a test tournament and 8-player brackets, and it's a show match before the actual bracket part. So no worries if things take an extra couple of minutes. And the second match is being set up, so it's perfect timing to get through this in a show match. We've had one on Thursday between Chris and Yanini. Now that didn't have the automatic part, so it was 3 steps uglier. Also didn't show the gauntlet overlay back then, so you can see the steps we are taking since last week. And I got the new link already, so I'm sending you the new link already as well.
Awesome.
And there's the Papierfresse and
Yeah,
Ashton,
there he is, right there in the top left corner yet again.
the familiar cat.
All right. Well, we have an overlay again.
Yeah, perfect.
That's great.
Looks like 3 minutes. We'll see if Chris needs to take a breather and 1 extra minute or 2. We'll see if Papier is ready for bingo, his first ever bingo match.
Does say he's on 2 points, but 0 points, but we all know he's on 2 points.
Yeah, I think in my experience, the admin can add the scores without adding rounds, but if not, we'll just pretend that he has 2 more than currently. Also, this 0-0 is like the opposite of one of the matches at the end of RR8 when we had the match start from 2-0 and everyone asking if they missed a map or 2. And now we are map 3, but everyone will join and see this is map 1. It all evens out. So bingo in Chongqing 2 minutes. I'm just really excited to see, especially because it's lockout, so they will play against each other and not just parallel or like do the similar things just at the same time.
Yeah, I'm 1.5 minutes away.
Let's see if I can bring up the bingo generator because I'm curious about some things. Because you will see a board of 25 tiles, 5 rows, 5 columns, and so it's similar in concept to roulette. From a set amount of conditions, you get just a few, of course, like you can only get 2 keys and 2 disguises for 2 target maps. But in Chongqing there are 77 tiles for the 2 targets, so you will see vastly different actions from picking up screwdriver to pacifying someone with the cowboy bust, collecting some random items, or sabotaging some devices like generators, fumigators, Not here, but Fusebox is what I wanted to say.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that can go on Chongqing, and we normally don't see very much of it in speedruns and in roulette. We usually stick to just a couple areas of it, but there is a ton that actually can go on here. And it looks like Papier's hovering balcony now. So he actually is just completely uncontested if there's anything up near balcony.
Yeah, Ashton outside in the menu, so he doesn't have a choice selected. But oh yeah, as you said, that with the lack of mastery, I think that's the only suit style that he has. And yeah, Riverside will be the one. And here we have the 25. We won't read this out this time, but
Yeah.
we will of course look at them in detail as they are claiming them. Like blow up the propane flask. It's unique item for Chongqing, so it is at the bottom of the stairs in the middle of the block.
That's a really fast one from balcony if Papier wants to go from that. We go for that. Drop the disco ball is a quick one in Chongqing. Collect the cigar box is pretty quick. All the access dongles are quite quick as long as you actually get down there. Become a dumpling cook. Papierfresse is going for it right now, I think.
Yeah, good call. A nice chest slide to get another half a second quicker to the free skies. And maybe just checking if he's allowed to do that. Of course he's. But this will be otherwise a game mode with a lot of hit protection if you want to do so, especially for the items. It's no shame in that. No one would know where, I guess, the second scissors are. Maybe you know one for roulette. Maybe actually you know two, but in general it's hard to know all of them.
Yes, it is a big knowledge check.
Exactly.
And a very different mindset going in compared to roulette and speedruns and such.
And Ashton is
Papier,
the first. Yeah?
Yeah, Papier hasn't claimed his tile.
And now he does on my end. So his first one is the disco ball. But actually Ashton was the first one who claimed any tile.
He became a dumpling cook as well. Doesn't seem... he might not even know that it's an option.
Good question. Oh, I see it now. So it is the fourth tile in the second column, and Ashton with a restart, and no need to remove those tiles, indeed. And for the admin, it has to be exactly the propane flask. It's the tiny gray item, not the propane tank, not anything else. Yeah, the top of the metal stairs is a propane tank. Wording is important.
Yeah, so Chris will probably get around to taking that away.
Yeah, actually a feature that was added today. Thank you, Curry, for that, as Ashton close. Doesn't get spotted. But yeah, admin can remove the tiles in theory. So we'll see the removal soon. There you go.
Papier was pretty near the cigar box, but looks like he's gonna pass up that. Maybe he just didn't know where it was, which is fair enough. And there's one pair of scissors. I believe he needs two, yes.
And the matchup by Ashton it's a bit confusing, but it's not allowed in bingo and roulette. So need to...
Oh yeah, someone's gotta let him know.
Need to force him a restart. So it's, of course it's different. It's hard to say, like, because the speedrun heavy game modes, full game and contracts mode, especially in real time, should definitely allow everything. But as long as roulette and bingo, which is very similar to that, are considered more traditional and more puzzle heavy, we have a much longer list of restrictions there. So Ashton's not losing any tiles, but he will have to restart.
The Ashton actually gets become a dumpling cook. Although Papier has been a dumpling cook for around 5 minutes now, which is unfortunately just what happens when you miss.
It's not only a steal, but it's certainly not allowed for Ashton to claim it because it's a match-shotted run. And wonder if Papier will notice the tile, and if that goes clear, then he can reclaim it.
And it almost looks like Papier's going for a row. Maybe he's not aware of the
The
rules. I would
difference is,
assume
yeah.
I assume he's going down to the break room now if he's in this area with the ones that he's gotten.
Yeah, he missed the cigar box, so hopefully he's just going for a tile, which he reminded himself to do. So screwdriver is just good to get around in this area. So
Mm-hmm.
vents need to be opened.
You can hack that panel with your camera, 47.
Yeah, that could be a nice addition to the overlay for at least the bingo modes, to add some colors, because Papier is red player and Ashton is the green one.
And Ashton gets to the break room AC first. So I assume Papier might just ditch the idea, or maybe he's not aware of what lockout means, which is always a possibility.
Yeah,
In which
probably
case
was
he might
coached
still
wrongly.
try it.
And I thought I did see, yeah, there's the chloroform, and he will sedate someone with it. Yeah, as long as it doesn't lock on the head. So I can see the animation as well as the body font, so he can definitely claim it now. Ashton
Yep.
getting close in trespassing area. And Ashton will get this disguise. I think the analyst.
Engineer. Oh wait, no, sorry, I was looking at Papier.
Yeah, both are going for disguises.
You are
yeah.
correct.
Dumpling cook actually allowed in the facility for somewhat, but not this deep, so gets the corner subdue and disguise. Just
You can use your
looking
camera
through the
to
discussions, because Ashton's run is invalid since the mud shot, and I think the drones was in a previous run.
Yeah, drones was in a previous run, but we're actually at 5-1 as long as Papier realizes the dumpling cook, and there go all the tiles there. Ashton sits down in the break room, but that's going to be invalid as well, which is really unfortunate.
Papier loud KO, close combat hurt, but still green, lucky for him. The engineer is leaving and will make Imogen panicked, or at least with the question mark. Now I think Ashton, knows that it has to be restarting, but I mean, it's not a long trek back to the facility, and he knows how to get these tiles. I also wonder if Papier knows the rows and the columns, because it
Yeah,
seems like
definitely
he's
seems like he
going.
doesn't, which would be very impressive if he manages to pull it off. Getting 2 rows in a lockout mode.
Yeah, I wonder what would be the protocol here. I think, well, now Papier gets one from somewhere else, but if he only got those 9, I think he would get a reject, and
Yeah.
then he has to return for one more tile and 2 targets again.
Which would be kind of funny, but definitely annoying on his side.
Yeah, Papier really keen on keeping those green guns, of course. That's the only way to claim these tiles here. And yeah, let's see what he has in store for here, because we've seen some facility tiles for sure around here, with the analyst in the break room. 2 break room tiles, the AC and sitting down.
Definitely should be running to the break room now, I would say. Or maybe he's getting analyst. If he's getting analyst, that's understandable for sure. Yep, become a facility analyst, lights out. He's just gotten it from, I mean, it's might as well be free. I don't believe anyone looks in here, besides maybe Imogen, if she gets drone lured.
Sounds free to me as well. And important to mention that you need the tiles as well as the objectives. So
Yes.
Some drone action might be in order.
And Ashton manages to become a dumpling cook again.
Ashton snatches the tile twice, yeah. At least that's a nice gift for him backwards. Yeah, no much shots in bingo and roulette, which is of course something that now you have to look at to how to make sure the rules are easy to understand between game modes, because it's just so many different things to play.
Yep. And especially when you're in game, thinking about everything is not the easiest task.
Yeah, especially after playing contracts mode, or especially any percent where
Yep.
everything really goes.
That's a body found for Ashton. So another restart. Right when he was about to get two quick tiles as well.
Yeah, those break room tiles, just so, I guess, convenient as well. And he's still going back to the facility, so could be some nice tile claiming. Papi drops the propane and doesn't kill anyone with it, luckily. I think that was a almost unfortunate bounce next to that lady and next to the car.
Yes. Scary, but he gets it. And he's turned off the satellite dish as well, which will kind of double as a way to get Hush over.
Yeah.
And that's 1, 2, 3. That's 8 from the looks of it. Nope. 9.
9 with the
9.
dish now.
Yeah,
If
9,
he can
9.
save this, or oh my god, yeah, I was gonna say that the side queue should be salvaged, but sadly the
Oh, that's unfortunate. But I mean, it'll be fine. He can just run, get 2 quick kills on Hush and Imogen from balcony, which is pretty much second nature with most of these players, I would assume.
yeah, they can kill the targets anytime they want, but I guess maybe Puppy just wants to get the tiles out of the way first and then just make it a Chongqing essay, perhaps. But I guess now he's rushing Hush, shooting the drones. I think there will be some kills here very soon. Ashton with the facility rush. He can't become an analyst, or he can, just won't get a tile for that, but the AC tile is still available. That is exactly a viable strategy in New England. You can get the tiles and then just restart, at least in lockout.
Yeah, in non-lockout doesn't work as well. Oh, and Papier, that researcher, oh, that's unfortunate.
We'll just go for even more speedrunning strats with this triple shot. Question about the package, which is the bottom left tile. I think that would be entry of the facility and like the coffee machine talker lady, somewhere around there.
I will check right now. It is, yeah, you go into the facility and it's in the area near like the entrance checkpoint.
By the two cooks. Nicely said by Chris as well.
Yes.
Ashton finally getting those break rooms in a valid way. So that's now 9-4. And what does he have in the facility to catch up? I think the TVs for sure. The safety core potential, but people have said that it might lock you in sometimes. So here's to see if that will work out. Of course, the dongle. Tier 1 dongle would be tier 1 facility if I had to guess.
There's definitely a couple quick ones. This is not completely over yet because Papier, the way that the place that he's starting rather at balcony, there aren't too many left that he can get from around here.
And Papier still needs one more tile.
Yep.
Which could be the poison in the ventilation system, because Hash's system is up here and the poison is a floor below.
Yep. That would definitely work.
Could be the test pot kill, although it's a far from straightforward minigame. I'm not sure where the hammers are, but... And I guess at that point the wrenches or the scissors are also quite viable. Ashton getting the tier 2 dongle, so... Of course that's not a tile just yet. The banana will be some pacification, just not a tile here. Still, of course, good to get a disguise there. There may also be a dongle in here, because you are supposed to get here without a dongle, and yep, there's the blue one. 9 to 5 now.
Getting a little closer, although Papier's going to be able to get his last one right in a couple of seconds here when he finds this poison, which I think is what he's looking for.
Now is the floor
I
below.
believe it's in the washroom. Oh.
Yeah, and here the stethoscope and the doctor, so it wouldn't be this floor, but he can go for items. He's probably looking for melee. The cigar box, of course. There you go.
Ah, yes.
Which puts him at 10, and the hash kill. And the evidence just for good measure. So Imogen is remaining before the 3-0, and of course a guard to dodge, a very annoying enforcer. As long as he doesn't turn in the wrong way, but he kind of does, doesn't move a lot. It can't jump around, so it gets suspicious and have to restart. Still 10 tiles for Papier, but no kills, and Ashton is on a 5-minute run. And what might be his next tile from here?
This is Ashton's last hope here, I'd say. If he can get a couple quick ones, and Papier rips maybe once or twice more, he could do it. Although it is definitely a bit tricky. You can't hang up there. Alright, there you go.
There's the apple knocking down, not knock out. So luckily there's no bodies being found, no combat, no suspicious action. 9 to 6.
And what could Ashton get here? I guess collect 3 hammers and collect 2 wrenches. He's been on the map for a while now, so he might have a couple of those already.
I think so as well. I didn't see either of them in the loadout, sadly, so...
Potentially not. Then maybe open a door with the arcade key. That could be pretty quick.
That's an easy shot, and Ashton will decide to restart with his tiles. We'll just try to get those items from a different corner, because I think it's mostly about the tiles, or the items here, sorry.
Yes. I'd say his best bet here, he gets open the door, or open a door with the arcade key, the package, poison, and maybe wrenches or scissors.
If the other scissors are about the laundry area and near where Papier got the free dumpling cook, which he never got, I think that's kind of viable as well. But it's still 4 to 5 minutes away, even with perfect routing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Johnny Axe. It is down by the 2 cooks.
And Papier is just 1 kill away, and it's the very straightforward Imogen. Basically, roulette, just any method, and I suppose it's just passing these guys, but that's no problem for Papier. And he is approaching Imogen and her guard from the facility, and as long as he has 1 melee item, and he has a brick to KO Vincent, and then he can kill Imogen, and that will be the end of this match.
Very impressive from Papier, especially for first time bingo. That was very well played.
Yeah, just the couple of rules to flesh out so that he knows what to go for. But actually, he went with the right rules, like getting the 10 tiles, not in rows or columns. So yeah, all fair play to that. And it was a 20-minute run by Papier from a 45-minute timer, and gets his 3rd point and wins this show match.
Well done. The entry percent was ridiculously fast. The SASO Roulette was very impressive. And the bingo too. Very well done.
I think he's very relieved to get the bingo win as well, the one that he was far less familiar with, obviously without having played bingo in the past. But
Yes,
did
that
very
would be a
well.
confidence boost for sure.
So yeah, I guess this is a match of Hitman Gauntlet with.
There you go.
I guess the one thing we didn't show you is the contract type, and just a quick word about that because we've seen a roulette type, so you could imagine how the rest of the roulette types would go. We've seen lockout bingo, so non-lockout will go similar as well. The race, obviously very similar, just different seasons or ratings required. But the contracts are a very unique composition. You can have a random contract where the goal is to just finish it first. It's a real-time competition, and 4 or 5 targets, or even with a couple of complications to be respected, like fiber wire or other kill conditions. So that is the one contract, and we can have a contract series, which is an any percent race as well, like a season. So you get 3 contracts, and you just have to rush those out with any percent rating. And there's the contract score mode, which is very similar to Red Fox's contract wars, where you have 15 minutes to get as good of a score on a contract as possible, and we turn this into a best of 3, so up to 3 contracts can be played here. So 45-minute timer is respected, and we award points that way as well.
Yeah,
yeah.
Contract modes are definitely super interesting and super new, to me at least. And we've only done one Providence event to really do anything with contracts, so I'm excited to see more of them show up. We've got one tomorrow. Oh, yes, tomorrow.
That is tomorrow.
Contract series.
Tomorrow for most people, it will be 11 p.m.
Yes.
for our main caster Gunter on the West Coast. Chris X3 versus Kaneta for the first quarterfinal of the tournament, and we can see that it starts in Lockout Bingo, and we will see the first contract series, any percent round as well, and then SASO Roulette, and if you need be then Improv and SASO Race, that will be casted by Gunter and GK Punk. Before 3 matches on Wednesday, you said it early in the stream, that it's a very busy day with a couple shuffling around, almost 4 matches a day, but luckily we could reschedule there. And yeah, Yanni versus the Observer, Matty versus Joker, and Red Fox versus Meekah will round out the top 4 on Wednesday.
Yeah, and then on the 10th, which is the Friday, we have 2 show matches. We have Z-Rune versus Linux Penguin, and Nezuko-chan versus Soviet.
Yeah, basically everyone's scheduled already who had something to schedule, all 4 quarterfinals and the 3 show matches, so very much looking forward to it. And of course, what you don't see here is the 2 semifinals and the 2 finals, the 3rd place match and the final, which will be played on Sunday. And I think we can show you the small representation of the brackets. Red Fox versus Meekah in the first quarter. The winner will play Chris or Kaneta, sorry. It's not team event. And the other half, we'll have Matty versus Joker and Yanni versus the Observer. So, nice little event. I hope everyone is looking forward to it. I'm sure you are looking forward to it, Meekah, as well.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Awesome to hear, and very excited to see all these matches later in this week. Thank you everyone for watching this match, and a special shout out to Curry for all the background work on the coding, Mendel Gunter on the design and the assets, and Chris X3 who had to admin this mess of a first match. It's always just so much chaos, but Chris did very well with very little downtime, and very appreciate and curious to hear his feedback on how to make it even smoother for future events. But yeah, thanks again, Meekah, for joining me.
Thank you for having me in for fun.
Always.
This is so much fun. I love this mode.
Glad to hear, and yeah, we'll see a lot more of it this week, so keep an eye out on the Discord, which for once I can not forget plugging, even though everyone in this channel is already in the Discord, but just in case, join the Providence Discord to see some events and matches and talk about Hitman and the competitions, and think this is it from us for tonight, and see you guys for the next match. Goodbye.